gave up one hit and no walks, and an ERA this spring so far of 0.00. And a couple of years ago, I had Schumacher on my fantasy team, picked him up late in the year, pitching for Anaheim, and he was a stud. Now, he's had a lot of injuries. I know that. I'm looking for cheap bargains late in drafts. I've got Schumacher written down to follow this spring. If he's healthy and if he's given the opportunity, he could be one of those pitchers you get late to fill out your roster. Could be in an auction, a really cheap pick. One of those dollar pitchers, right? Cleveland and Texas yesterday. Texas 3, Cleveland 2. For the Indians, it's sort of odd saying Delino DeShields for the Indians, right? But he went 2 for 3. He's hitting .333 on the spring so far. How about Franmil? Just the name Franmil Reyes. Franmil DHing goes 1 for 2. He's hitting .467 this spring. His one hit was a double. Of course, DeShields' hit, let me not, one of his hits was a double as well. And Mejia was the starting pitcher yesterday for Cleveland. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no runs allowed. And my boy Nate Jones, the minor leaguer, he played, got 2 at-bats yesterday, struck out twice. Not this year, Nate, but you're coming soon. For Texas yesterday, Sin-Soo Choo led off. Andrus batted second. Danny Santana batted third. Todd Frazier batted fourth. Willie Calhoun batted fifth. Rufton Odor sixth. Chirino seventh. Guzman eighth. And Federic, the catcher, batted ninth. Pretty much regulars there for Texas. Gibson, the pitcher they picked up off free agency during the offseason, 2 innings, only 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Allard, acquired in the trade with Atlanta, 3 innings, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts. I'm telling you, the Rangers pitching is much improved. And if they can get out of, as we talked about him yesterday, the former 2-time Cy Young Award winner for Texas, if they can get production from their starting pitchers, and look, they've got Lance Lynn, they've got Mike Minor. Remember, combined last year, those 2 starters won 30 games. I just mentioned 2-time Cy Young Award winner, I didn't name him, but Corey Kluber. And now they feel good about the backside with Kyle Gibson and Jordan Lyles. And you think about the wins that those starting pitchers could pick up. Look at the back end last year for Texas. I mean, the back end last year, horrible. After Minor and Lynn, okay, 1 and 2 in their order last year, starters went 15-39 with a 7.22 ERA over 97 starts. And what you do now is you move Minor and Lynn back to from 1 and 2 to 2 and 3. Kluber votes into 1. And you replace that back end with Kyle Gibson and Jordan Lyles, who I don't think now your back end is going to go 7.22 ERA over 97 starts. The Rangers haven't had more than 3 starters, win at least 10 games since when? I'll repeat that. The Rangers haven't had more than 3 starters win at least 10 games since C.J. Wilson, Colby Lewis, Derek Holland, Matt Harrison, and Alexi Ogando did it in 2011. Rangers starters that season won 74 games, and then they won 72 in 2012. But over the last 7 years, the starters have only averaged 52 wins per season. So the Rangers are putting a lot of stock in Gibson and Lyles, Kluber, of course Lynn and Minor. And there's always a chance of an injury, and I haven't even mentioned Allard, who also can start. So there's not only quality in Texas, there's also some quantity. And ask the Yankees about needing starting pitching. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Angels, Cubs win 9-4. Bryant led off. It was a split squad game yesterday. Rizzo, Baez, Schwarber. Sound familiar? Contreras, Caratini, Souza in right field. Ian Happ, Horner at second. Schwarber doubled. Caratini doubled. Happ homered. Hendricks started the game. Kyle Hendricks goes 3 innings. No hits, no walks, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Still has not surrendered an earned run this spring. I'm a Hendricks kind of guy. He is a starter in fantasy that will not go in the first few rounds, but when he does go, he's going to give you innings. He's going to give you quality. Maybe not the extremely high K/9 rate, but he's steady. He's consistent. You can count on him. I am a Hendricks kind of guy in drafts this year. For Anaheim, La Stella led off, went 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, his first homer of the spring. Goodwin played right field. Pujols, Castro the catcher, Stassi at DH. Anaheim scores 4 runs. Teheran starts the game. 2 innings, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He's yet to allow an earned run this spring. So, Teheran changing leagues, going to the American League West, where he's going to pitch in a pitcher's park in Anaheim, a pitcher's park in Oakland. Will he have a bounce-back kind of year changing leagues? Where do you draft Teheran? Now, he doesn't have the velocity that we typically like, but he's always had that kind of, I don't know, we think we can get more out of him than he's shown kind of guy. I'm going to follow him this spring is all I can say. He's on my draft board. Padres, White Sox. Yesterday, San Diego scores 3 and the White Sox score 1. So that tells me San Diego wins the game, right? Paddock, 3 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 1 strikeout. You guys know from last year, I'm a Paddock fan. My concern with Paddock, they limit his innings. It's not his talent. Plenty of it. They're stretching him out. He's yet to allow an earned run this spring. Franchi Cordero goes 1 for 3, Andrea. Yesterday, Franchi Cordero looking for regular playing time in that Padre lineup this year. Everything I read about him is he's fast, he can hit with power, he can just flat out hit. The injury bug has been his Achilles heel. But healthy, Franchi Cordero is going to get at bats. Even if there's a platoon, he's on the strong side of a platoon. He's worthy of draft consideration. I'm telling you guys, look for Franchi. And the thing about the Padres is I listen to a lot of shows and I don't hear a lot of love for San Diego, but they've got a lot of talent. Don't be surprised. You don't buy into every broadcaster's analysis of who's going to finish first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. The Padres are a good team. Now, are they young? Yeah. Could they struggle? Yeah. Were they 2 games out of the wild card at the All-Star break last year? Yes. And if they're there this year, look for them to make a trade. They've got a farm system like you can't believe. Look for them to bring up some young players too. Mackenzie Gore, if they need a pitcher, I think he could come up mid-season and really be a hammer for the Padres. White Sox yesterday, 1 run. Moncada, Anderson, Abreu, Delmonico, Eloy Jimenez, who went 2 for 3. Luis Robert, who's hitting .308 this spring. McCann, Palka, Luis Garcia. Names sound familiar, don't they? And Dallas Keuchel, who went 4 innings. First pitcher I've seen to go 4 innings this spring. He goes 4 innings, gives up only 1 earned run. Now, Keuchel, not a strikeout pitcher, only struck out 1, but no walks. Really good outing for Keuchel. And here's the thing, in 4 innings, he only faced 16 batters. So he's got his control, he's got his mojo going. Good outing for Dallas Keuchel. Colorado, Seattle. The Rockies win. The Rockies score 9. They win 9-6 over Seattle. David Dahl homers leading off. Hampson, it was announced yesterday, will be a utility player, fantasy gurus. Hampson will not be a starter to begin the season. He will be a utility player, gurus. Enough said. McMahon, playing second base, hit his first homer of the spring off Justice Sheffield in the first inning. Hilliard goes 2 for 4. He hits his first homer in the 4th inning off Chin. Oh, by the way, David Dawes came in the 5th off Chin. Hilliard batted cleanup, went 2 for 4. Owings 0 for 2. Daza 1 for 3. Fuentes played first base 3 for 3, and he's hitting .471 this spring. John Gray started yesterday for the Rockies, went 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 strikeout. They were pleased with that outing. Seattle, Shed Long led off, played second base. White played first, went 2 for 3. He's hitting .455 on the spring. Kyle Seager, 3 for 3. He's hitting .455 on the spring. He doubled twice yesterday, and one of those was of John Gray. Vogelbach went 1 for 3. Lopes came in late. He went 1 for 2. Still leads the team in hits this spring. He's hitting .533. Sheffield started pitching yesterday. Listen to this line. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. The only earned run was the homer he surrendered to lead off the game to David Dahl. He settled down after that, striking out 4, walking none. Remember, he came over from the Yankees in that trade. And I think he's going to be in their starting rotation this year for the Mariners. San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona wins the game 8-1. Giants win the game 8-1. Sorry, San Francisco fans. And Jeff Samardzija, who has been the talk of some trades, 3 innings, only 1 earned run. His ERA sitting at 180 on the spring. Dickerson goes 1 for 3. Flores 1 for 2. Hunter Pence 1 for 2. They just scattered hits up and down the lineup. Dubon at second base went 2 for 3, and he's hitting .500 on the spring. For the Diamondbacks, who had 5 hits, LeCastro led off, and he had 2 of them. Ketel Marte had 1. Escobar 0 for 3, David Peralta 0 for 2, Christian Walker 0 for 2. Lamb 0 for 2, Ahmed 0 for 2, you get the idea. And Kelly started yesterday for Arizona, going 2 2/3, only giving up 1 earned run and struck out 3 batters. Phillies in Atlanta. This box score stuff, I'm getting into it. I got a lot more than just box scores to do today, okay? Got some news of the day coming up. So we're on I think this is our last game I'm going over. Philadelphia and Atlanta. Newcomb started for the Braves, 3 innings, 3 strikeouts. What do the Braves do with Newcomb? Does he start? Does he relieve? He looked really good yesterday in his starting rotation spot. Camargo for Atlanta, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. He's hitting .400 on the spring. He's making an argument he should be the regular third baseman. Austin Riley trying to fight back, goes 1 for 3. He's hitting .313. So you got a really good competition there in Atlanta.